Hello and welcome back to Realm of Thrones. And indeed, look at what we're doing right now. I am bombarding the walls of Heart's Home, and I'm very much attempting to see if we can maybe, just maybe, deplete the garrison as well. Now, obviously, if we take down the walls, if we offensively destroy the walls beforehand, then we're going to have a much better time of things. It's going to be very, very simple for us to just go in there, slash them, smack them all around, just make sure that they have no idea what has happened, and then we're going to be in a good position. However, obviously, as you know from the previous episode, we are having some issues with the VALE. They are attempting to attack our very homeland. Well, I mean, technically, our homeland is around the Lease area, because I have my first town over there, located over there, and generally they haven't really done much in regards to attacking that. They are mostly attacking the northern area of Essos a great deal, mostly because my vassals are doing that. They're doing a very, very good job. Why is Vicon doing a tournament? Why is he doing a tournament? I'm actually very surprised and a little bit well, not disappointed, as it were. Not disappointed because, I mean, let's face it, it's a pretty good idea for him to do a tournament every so often, but, yeah, I'm not sure why he would take the time to do that when we are having some issues. Let's just say that. We're having quite a few issues with the VALE, and I'd actually like him to be out there destroying enemies on the field, and he is actually capable of doing that. He is very, very good at what he does, so I'm actually quite surprised. Anyway, Ixicalo has now just been taken once again. That was not Daenerys, by the way. That was Roro, I believe. Yeah, I think he did that, unless we have two armies. We might have two armies, and I can't see the other one because the other one is actually underneath Roro's banner. So that might very well be the case. However, we now have another fief, which is really, really nice. Rios is actually under siege right now, so that might be a bit of a problem. I might actually give this to Vicon. Just purely... Daenerys is having some problems with relation. Why is she having problems with relation? Why does she have 47? That is kind of weird. Technically, that should not happen. Wait a minute. Let me actually just have a quick look here. Targaryen. Yeah, she has nothing. Okay, yeah, well, not nothing. She does have 47 relation with us, but I was kind of hoping she'd have a little bit more than just 47. I'm actually a little bit weirded out by that, considering I did make her a vassal. I did give her a bunch of fiefs. Stuff like that. Funnily enough, I think that the relation gain doesn't actually work when you give them a fief from the voting screen. I think that actually only works when you gift it to them from your own ownership. So if I were to, for example, give her Winterfell, then her relation would go up with us. But if I choose her as the leader of the faction, that, I believe, does not provide any relation increase, which is a little bit of a strange situation. Now, funnily enough, we have spent so long waiting and doing these kinds of sieges that we are now in a situation where I have 388 out of 392, which is pretty crazy. I actually never thought that we would max out our army capacity that soon. But we have, which is very nice. That means that we are going to be extremely, extremely powerful. Funnily enough, the VALE are not really deciding to do much about us right here. I actually wanted to attack Hearthome just purely because I wanted to try and, well, I'm going to say it, I wanted to try and bait them. Yeah, I wanted to try and lure them back here, try to make sure that they know that we want to make peace with them. Are you serious? Yes, I wanted to make sure that they knew that we were fantastically dangerous and that they would come all the way back here and basically just waste their time. That's what I wanted to try to do. For some reason, the garrison is not getting starved out. I don't know why. We need these 190 people to go away, because then it's going to make it a lot easier for us to achieve victory. Surprisingly enough, we have a VALE calling peace thing, but now it's been cancelled. Okay, that's interesting. Did you see that? They were calling for a vote, but now the vote is gone. So I'm actually not entirely sure. We're not at war against anyone else. As you can see, we're only at war against the VALE. That's kind of strange. Alright, well, I guess that's fine. And we've got Trago calling for an army here. We've got Aaron rolling around with an army, 246. And then, of course, we have Daenerys, which actually she is attempting to take Tolero Axio once again, which is hopefully going to work. Okay, so I've actually waited here for quite some time, longer than the food situation allows, and, well, the garrison, as you can see, has not moved. They are literally still at full strength. Not one of them have become wounded, so I am left to believe that this particular situation is bugged. Yes, I think that they just don't get starved out. No, they just don't get starved out. So we're going to have to go in the old-fashioned way and teach them a thing or two about respect. And, you know, they must respect the rule of physics, or shall we say the physiological desire to eat, and or the requirement, because, I mean, let's face it, it is required in most cases. It is very much required. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. Obviously, for me personally, what I am going to do is I'm going to get off my my dragon here. I could technically fly around, by the way. I could fly around on the dragon, but I don't know. I feel like it's kind of fun, considering we now have the /through mod. By the way, the updated mod list and mod load order is in the description, so if you're interested, you can take a look at it, and you can obviously see what I'm using. I did mention the two mods, but it's nice to have it written down anyway. And otherwise, we're just going to make our way over here. Yes, we're just going to make our way over here, and we're just going to have a fun time. All right, here we go. Yes, yes. That is what I love to see. Oh yes, that is what I absolutely love to see. I love these kinds of /throughs. These kinds of /throughs, that's where it's at. Unfortunately, they are using shields, of course, and they are going to be extremely irritating to deal with, but it's okay. You know, as long as we have the ability to slash through, I am all good, you know. I mean, look at how easy that was. That was so extremely easily able to get in here, and we don't have any problems whatsoever. I am actually thinking of using my one-handed a little bit. Did I get to 275, by the way, one-handed? I'm actually not entirely sure. Let's switch to one-handed. I'm gonna just do that for a real quick second, because I want to make sure that we did level. I don't know whether I did, though, so let's just see. You know, it makes me yearn for the times that we were playing one-handed without any shield and without any ranged weapon, and basically utilizing a extremely fast movement speed duelist build. I thought that was extremely fun. Then I obviously do have a full series on that if you're interested, and yeah, generally it's just called The Duelist or whatever, and it's fantastic. I love that character build. It is extremely fun. And wow, we've got our giants here, and they are absolutely murdering everything, of course, as well. And funnily enough, my one-handed seems to be extremely strong. Kind of weird. I mean, maybe not that weird, but one-handed generally isn't really usually capable of getting one-shot kills, but this, it's killing things in one hit, you know? It's actually doing pretty nicely. Not sure why I'm running into the wall there. Alright, so let's actually just take a quick look. Yeah, so as you can see, we do have my forces kind of split off right now, because we are dealing with a significant force of opponents. But the funny thing is, because of the way that they have basically forced us in here, you know, they forced us in here to, well, go toe-to-toe with a full garrison and a full militia party, and well, I'm not best pleased. I'm not best pleased about that. Even though, funnily enough, it is actually going to provide us with a much greater renown reward, and generally, I cannot be mad about that. Especially considering we do seem to be having a pretty decent time here. We're not having too many problems with penetrating the defense, and that seems to be kind of usual, you know. Nowadays, that seems to be kind of like how you would expect it to be, especially considering you look at my army, right? You look at my army, and then you know, I think it's kind of obvious that that was the outcome that we were probably going to get, because we literally have I think an army that entirely comprises the highest tier noble units in the entire game. I could be wrong about that, because I let's face it, I think probably the strongest army in the entire game is probably I don't know, giants, you know, just a huge amount of giants all over the place. I mean, as I told you in the previous episode, I did actually, in a previous series of Realm of Thrones, I did actually field an entire army of giants. Absolutely 100% filled with, you know, 200 and something giants. And obviously that was before they changed the recruitment strategy or recruitment style for them. Now let's actually just take a quick look here. It seems like there is an enemy that is stuck somewhere. So I guess I'll have to find that and eliminate it. Alright, there you go. There's the victory. 135 renown and 120 influence. Absolutely fantastic. Actually really, really nice. For me personally though, I actually think the reason why I'm pretty happy there is because of the morale. Because we have obviously been converting so many people into, you know, into people that we actually want to use. Yeah, them joining our army basically makes it so that we have to be pretty happy about any kind of morale gains. Funnily enough, these guys don't have any nobles either. Yeah. They have no nobles whatsoever. Very, very strange. I will be taking all of the prisoners though, of course, and we will be selling them in the tavern. Oh, yes. Wait a minute. Oh, hello. Okay, I actually do have a better suit of armor. There you go. It looks pretty cool, actually. It looks very shiny. This is going to definitely highlight me on the battlefield. I wouldn't be surprised if I get shot just purely because I look so shiny, but that's okay. We'll take all the loot there as well, and yeah, we're rolling in money right now, just because of... This is all thanks to breeder skill, by the way. This is all thanks to breeder skill. This is the reason why I've constantly said, every single time I pick up breeder skill, please, if you are going to play any Bannerlord whatsoever, do try to pick up breeder skill if you can, because it is absolutely bonkers how much how much crazy stuff you can get. You can get some really, really cool horses duplicated just because of breeder skill. It is so good. So very, very highly recommended. And it's funny as well because generally you wouldn't think, oh yes, you know, 1% or whatever the chance is. I think there's a very, very low chance of it actually activating. But if you think about it, 1% chance is basically nothing. But if you have loads of different, or shall we say, loads of different kinds of horses that are relatively rare. So let's say you have, I don't know, 5, 10 or whatever horses or something like that. That basically turns it into a 1% chance per horse, from what I've understood about it. Unless there is some hidden documentation somewhere that says that that's not the case. But for me personally, I think that's how it works, where 1% chance is counted per horse. In other words, when you have 5 horses of the same type, you have a 5% chance of duplicating one of those. Like, for example, if we take a look at the actual thing here, where is it? There it is, breeder. 1% daily chance of animals in your party reproducing. Now, I personally believe that it is per horse, right? Per horse. So it could very well be that it doesn't depend on which horse or which mount that it duplicates. It could very well be that it just generally takes into account the entire number of horses that you have in your army or in your capacity here. Now, for me personally, I don't think that is the case. The reason why I don't think that's the case, as we take Talent Magnet, by the way, I want to get plus 10 party size limit. I don't really care about the companion limit so much. I can respec as well if we do come across a companion that we really badly want to get, even though I actually do have 4 spaces. I have 4 extra spaces for companions, so we shouldn't have to worry too much about that. Anyway, as you see here, obviously, because of breeder skill, let's just take a quick look. How many horses do I actually have? Because clearly, as you can see here, we have more than 100. Yeah, we have more than 100 easily, maybe even more than 200. And that means that I have a, if I am to be believed here about the general, should we say, net percentage, which is not going to be the case. It's not going to be 200% or whatever it is, in my opinion at least. Unless, as I said before, and I was talking about this in a previous episode too, if the value of reproducing amount is a flat value like a 0.25 or whatever, and the percentage chance increases that by 200%, then obviously that is, well, that's a very minuscule gain. However, if it does it like I think, which is if there is a percentage chance, like for example on each individual mount, as in if you are thinking that you would like to get another ebony unicorn, for example, if you'd like to get another cow steed or whatever, then what's going to happen is it's literally going to look at cow steed. It's going to be like, oh, you have 2 of these, that's a 2% chance. That's basically how that's going to go. At least that's what I think. Anyway, we got 111. Whoa, they have so many. Speaking of horses, they have so many horses. This is crazy. Okay, yeah, you know what? I'm actually going to buy a whole bunch of these. I am going to buy a whole bunch of these, and I'm going to be trading a load, by the way. So what we're going to do, considering these are noble mounts, right? Considering these are noble mounts, it's actually quite funny that they're willing to purchase my cow steed for 87,000 despite having noble mounts of their very own. This is very strange. Yeah, this is very, very strange. Anyway, I'm going to be purchasing all the mountain destriers. It's going to be 152,000. That might be a bit too much. We should probably buy a couple of these as well. Whoa, okay, that's 377,000. Do I have enough? I doubt it. I do. Sell at 0. Sell at 0. I mean, literally, look at how crazy that just did that. That is insanity. Okay, yeah. So I just purchased a whole bunch of very, very good horses there. And how many do I have? I have 11. Yes, I have 11 mountain destriers. So it's very likely now, by the way, that because I've purchased quite a bunch of these, we are going to be getting more of them, thanks to breeder skill. And the same thing with the Essos thoroughbred charger. And yeah, so as you can see, there you go, Heart's Home actually having a huge, really, really good amount of, well, basically everything there. I'm gonna just put a little bit of green in here. I don't really care about the money. That's okay, you know, whatever they want to do. We got 9 skill points for that. Very nice. And we're just gonna leave this basically the way it is. And let's have a look at the garrison. Okay, yeah, basically no one in there. That's all right. We don't have to worry about that too much. Okay, so we are now going to be going for the Eyrie. I think we should go for the Eyrie. Yeah, I think that is probably going to be the play. Yes, I am once again trying to force them into a situation here. I'm going to give this to Locke because, no offense to Daenerys, but I really do want to make sure that we have at least someone that might take care of it. I don't know. It's probably going to be highly unlikely. I can't give it to myself either, as you can quite clearly tell, because I'm just not on the ticket, you know. I'm not on the ticket, so I can't give it to myself, despite me maybe wanting to. because, you know, obviously I kind of know what's best about what to do with these kinds of things. So in other words, I'd probably take care of it for a little bit of time and then I'd give it to someone else, or I would just maintain control over it for a little bit of time just to make sure it's all good, and then, you know, make our way on from there. Anyway, 11 days worth of food. I can only hope that the starvation mechanic is going to work this time. And you can see here, the VALE have now just been captured en masse, which means we are in a great position. What's going on here with the camera? There we go. Yeah, so we're just going to build a bunch of trebuchets here, of course. We do want to, you know, try to destroy the walls. That's what we always try to do. And Heart's Home is now under siege almost immediately. All right. Well, I don't mind. If they want to take it, then that's absolutely fine. I'm going to be, you know, I'm going to be like water, as they say. Yes. Or shall we say, as he says. I will be like water, and we will try to just remain as calm as possible, and we'll flow. We'll go with the flow, you know. We'll go with the flow, and we'll try to make sure that everything's going to work out very, very nicely indeed. I'm just going to hope that the garrison gets eliminated. These guys are actually house units, so we do have to be a little bit careful of them. They are from House Aaron, so that's going to be a bit of an issue potentially, but hopefully not too much. Alright, so what I'm actually going to do is I am going to spend 1130 influence to stop Daenerys from forcing us into a peace agreement. Now, this obviously isn't really going to impact me too much because my influence is sky high at the moment. You know, we've got 7,300, which is actually bonkers. I never would have expected that we'd have that much yet. You know, but there you go. I mean, we do. I don't know. I don't even know how we even made that much, but yeah. Otherwise, as you can see, we have one day left in terms of the food situation here at the Eyrie, and we are hopefully going to be able to take it. I mean, the fact is, if we can manage to capture this, this is going to be a huge blow for the opponent. This is going to be absolutely insane. And the main reason why this is going to be insane, because I think this is going to be a very unique siege. It's going to be a very unique siege. And for me personally, I think it would be extremely fun to run through the streets of this town and actually see what's going on. Because if it is indeed a unique scene, which I hope it is, if it isn't a unique scene, then that's absolutely fine. I mean, I understand 100% that a lot of the... Oh dear. I see what's happened now. Do you see what's happened now? Yeah, okay, so I understand that a lot of work goes into creating scenes, and I am not even going to speak on the fact that the amount of time it's going to take to create things like that. So if there is a particular, you know, special fief or something like that that doesn't have a corresponding special scene associated with it, I am always going to be completely understanding, because I understand how much time is dedicated to making these things. And I'm not even just talking about Realm of Thrones here. I'm talking about every single mod out there. I'm talking about everything. From the old realms, from Shokuho, from pretty much everything that you can think of having unique scenes. If there's a unique scene, you know that a lot of work has gone into that, and that's just how it goes. You know, you need to be understanding that sometimes if something doesn't have a unique scene, then that's it. You know, things are always going to take time. Even, you know, all kinds of different situations are always going to take time. But you know, these situations like here right now, this doesn't seem to be unique as far as I can tell, and that's absolutely fine. I don't have a problem with that. That does not matter to me in the least, because I understand that it is extreme amounts of work. I mean, just imagine it. Imagine if they would put a unique scene in every single siege. That would take them years. That would take them literal years to get done. Just because. What is going on here? Can we destroy these guys' shields? Do I need to respec to make sure that I can actually destroy shields relatively quickly, or what? It seems like I need to destroy, not destroy, I need to, you know, switch out to the other perks that actually provide me with decent shield destroying capability. But yeah, well, maybe not, I don't know. But we are going to be getting 275 and one-handed here, at least I hope I will be. And I am going to try to just get that, and then I will immediately switch to two-handed again, because I will need the, shall we say, I will need the killing power, I think. There we go. Okay, yes. Now we are 275. Just going to make sure that we slay that fellow before we switch. And now we have switched. Yes. Let us now murder as best as we can. I have a pretty significant amount of two-handed skill. Actually, funnily enough, we've already eliminated 124 enemies. And I'm not entirely sure what the enemy is doing right now, but they are running outside of the walls when they are mostly archers. This is a very weird decision to make, but I guess if they want to, I mean, who am I, right? Who am I to say whether they can do that or not? Do I have strong legs? I think I do, right? Yes, there we go. We only took a very small amount of damage instead of 28 we would have taken. We took 14. That's not bad. And hello there. I don't really like fighting the militia. Because fighting the militia, they have shields. Yes, they have shields. And the archers, of course, do not. It seems like these guys... Oh, wow, yeah. Yeah, no, it's so satisfying. I mean, no offense right now, but it's just so satisfying to literally have the ability to do this much damage. It feels good. It feels really good, and it's got that classic sort of RPG feel, and that obviously that's one of the really good things about Bannerlord. When you're initially starting playing, and you've got the most trash-ass character in the world, and I'm talking about very limited, right? You know, it's a very limited character that can't really do much, has some of the worst skills that you will ever see, basically, apart from the lowest level of bandit. And you go from that, you go from zero, right? Go from rock bottom, basically, all the way to a guy that can slay hundreds of enemies by himself. And I think that that is a wonderful feeling. That is an extremely cool feeling, especially considering you have every little bit of agency in your journey to get there. I mean, to a certain degree, of course, you know, because sometimes Bannerlord doesn't give you all of the freedom that you would need, you know, in like a, I don't know, real life situation, I guess, but it is a game, so that's something we've got to remember, right? It is a game, so we don't have to be super strict about the realism aspect or anything like that. And I don't really care about that. I care about if it's a fun experience. Is it fun? Then that's good. You see, that's my main equation. Whenever I'm playing a game, I always think to myself, is it fun? Is it fun to play? And for the most part, Bannerlord is. There are some situations, okay, where it's not going to be fun. And yeah, okay, fine. You know, that means that there's going to be some ups and downs. Games are not always going to have the ups, right? They're sometimes going to have downs as well. And generally, that is the same for Bannerlord too, especially if you've played the game for hundreds of thousands of hours. I've literally played Bannerlord for more than 26 billion years, so just bear that in mind. Longer than the Earth has existed. So, you know, the fact is, we do have a semblance of a reality check when it comes to, is it fun? Because as I say, that is the question I ask myself. If I play a new game and I think to myself, is this fun? Am I having fun? Well, if the answer's no, then I kind of question whether I should continue playing, you know? And if the answer's no, I then think, is there something that I could be doing better that increases my enjoyment level? And maybe that is a weird way of looking at things, you know? Maybe that's a super, I don't know, weirdo, you know, kind of thing to think about. But actually, you know what? I think that's fine. I think that's okay. Because from my perspective, I would rather spend my time doing something that is enjoyable, something that is really fun. And talking about this, oh, we've got some of these winged knights. I'm going to be taking them. Thanks very much. And I'm not going to take any of the house guards. I will take some regular knights as well, because they level up into those winged knights. And I need to fill out my prisoner's hold a little bit here. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're just going to take all of those. Thanks very much. That has actually helped us out a great deal here. Yeah, so from my perspective, that's kind of what I look for in a game. Otherwise, we have Master Archers here with 140 in bow skill. I'm not going to be taking them. I'm going to take them to sell because, of course, that's what I'd like to do here. And otherwise, I am not really going to do too much. I am going to take everything here, and we're just going to move on. There you go. Let's show mercy. Let's see what we can do. Once again, we're just going to place a bunch of cash in there. Now that House Baratheon, though, has declared war, I think you know what I'm going to plan on doing next. We're probably going to be making peace with the VALE, and it must have been that my vassals might have known. Maybe they knew that that was going to happen, and that's the reason why they were kind of trying to push for the peace agreement. Maybe they knew. I don't know how they would have known, because that doesn't really make sense, you know. I don't know, unless they have some kind of, shall we say, future knowledge that they necessarily couldn't possibly have if they were, you know, just regular vassals, I suppose. But yeah, they, well, they obviously knew something. I don't know. They obviously knew something. Anyway, let's just give them a little bit of gold, a little bit of grain right here, and we're gonna get some 99,000 in cash, which is actually pretty nice. And then we can take a look at the map. Let's see what's actually going on here, and we'll see if we can maybe we're going to get some assistance from some of our people, because we are going to need some of them to come over here at some point. It seems like they're just messing around over here, constantly taking random things and then losing them, and then taking random things. As you can see, they have literally been fighting over Rios for the last, I don't even know how long. So it seems to me like what I might want to do is literally call for an army. I don't think anyone is free, though. Vikon is free. Why are you free, you absolute imbecile? Why doesn't he make an army himself? Why doesn't he make an army? This is so strange for me, to be honest. This is extremely strange, because if you take a look at his clan, he has 5,400 influence, which makes no sense. It makes no sense that he would be so incredibly useless. Okay, I'm going to call for him then. We're going to call for him, and we're going to run around together. 861. Yeah, that's actually a pretty significant amount. We're going to need to do something, because otherwise House Baratheon is going to run us down quite dramatically. I mean, you can see here, they actually own the Iron Islands as well. Hilariously enough. They literally, apparently, destroyed the Iron Islands. Oh no, that's the VALE. Never mind. I didn't even know that the VALE had destroyed the Iron Islands. Well, that's very intriguing. When did that happen? I have no idea. Anyway, that is going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.